Hello, I'm Cathy.
I'm Rachel.
And I'm Ola, and welcome to Little Bird Book Club.
It is the full moon today. If you're watching this at night time, go outside and have a look, because in November it is known as the beaver moon.
The beaver moon.
Now, come with me on my train of thought here. Beaver, Canada,
Yep.
and a Green Gables. That is why we look like this. We've got our hair in braids. We're wearing kind of not really appropriate clothing for Prince Edward Island in the 1920s, 1910s.
Yeah, as close as we could get.
Yeah, we're approximating here because we're going to talk about Anne of Green Gables. I love Anne of Green Gables by Lucy Montgomery.
I love this book too.
By Mum.
Yeah.
We both love this, and it's beautiful, and I don't even know if we're going to be able to talk about it apart from just going, I love that bit, do you love that bit?
I do love that bit. I love everything in it. Well, there's one bit that I don't like in the book.
I know which bit you don't like in the book.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get to it.
This video will contain spoilers for Anne of Green Gables.
A little plot refresher just in case you need it. Anne of Green Gables is about a young girl, orphan Anne. She's sent to live with an elderly brother, not elderly. She's sent to live with a brother and sister, Matthew and Marilla, who own a farm. They're in the 50s, 60s. They're wanting a young boy to come and help them with the chores. The orphanage sends a girl. Uh-oh.
The horror.
Sad.
Marilla wants to send Anne back. Matthew wants to keep her. Anne is very fanciful, imaginative, talkative, full of great passions. She just throws herself into everything, and to some she is just annoying. And at first, perhaps to Marilla, she's just annoying and a bit much, but to many she is endearing or becomes endearing and freshens up wherever she goes. And Marilla and Matthew both decide to keep her, and then we follow Anne through her teenage years kind of into early adulthood.
No,
Sorry?
Ola hasn't read it.
Ola, I think you would enjoy this book.
I was what I was planning to say in the video, that Ola would enjoy it, even though we've just given away a massive spoiler. She doesn't remember.
So what do we make of Anne?
She's great. She's full of gumption.
She is full of gumption. I think I love reading about Anne, and I so wanted to do well, but I unfortunately think that in real life
She'd annoy you.
She'd annoy me.
Wow.
I know.
It's not very nice.
It's not a very nice thing to know about myself.
Are you Rachel Lind?
Yeah, no.
Although even
no,
Rachel,
not
like Rachel loves Anne, doesn't she? Like she doesn't. No, people don't like her at first because she's brash and unfamiliar, and she's not an islander, so everyone's got their guard up. But ultimately, she's lovely. She's got a big heart. She's really nice to everyone. She's really resourceful. She helps out the town and the village and all the people that live there time and time again. And people are just like, you know what? She's just a kid. She's had a rough life. Why would we be so judgmental about her?
All right.
You know?
no. I think I would have to go on that journey.
Okay.
Because I think when you read it as a kid, you're like, oh, that's just cute. And then sometimes like, but if somebody came up and talked that much at me, I also might be a bit like, calm it, just a little bit.
Just
it's
calm
really
it,
a bit, yeah.
Just calm it.
But then on the other hand, I think, and maybe this is why she connects so much with people. On the inside, I would think fanciful thoughts like Anne did. I mean, not quite as poetically as well written as Anne would think them, but imagining scenarios and stories and letting it all spill out and wanting the magic and the adventure in life and wanting to see it all, that strongly appeals. And I feel like on the inside I felt like that.
Yeah.
But Anne would bring all that just out into the open. And she's kind of cool.
Yeah, she's not afraid to bring that out into the open. But you were like, I've got to keep all my thoughts inside.
I got to repress that. And if I saw that in other people, I'd be like, do you not know that we repress these thoughts?
Wow.
And she just brings it out. I know.
Cathy, you're a horrible person. Just kidding. I'm just joking.
I'm not saying it's right. But maybe that's the beauty of Anne of Green Gables, is she's about connecting to that very childlike whimsy and embracing it and not repressing it. And maybe that's why so many people really love this story.
How old is she when we first start? Is she like 9 or like 12? I don't know.
In my head she's like 11, but I do not know.
Come on, tell me how old she was at the beginning of the novel. 11.
11.
11. She's 11.
She's 11 years old.
She's just a kid. Got some slack, man.
But she's like a year 7 kid.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Year 7s can
Year
have
sevens.
passions.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Also, she's not a kid for very long, and she maintains that intensity throughout her life. She does level out, but
Yeah.
she's still very open to the world and the imagination and all that kind of jazz. Do you know what? So Ellen Montgomery wrote another book about a Canadian orphan called Emily, and I can't remember specifically what the Emily of something,
Yeah.
but like she wrote a whole other series about a whole other Canadian orphan.
Oh, really? I
Did you know that?
didn't know. No, I had no idea.
She had a niche and she ran with it.
Yeah. Also, Marilla, do you not think she's like the ultimate... You know when people about Grumpy and Sunshine?
Mm.
She's like the perfect Grumpy.
Yeah.
Like, she's reserved and a bit fed up, and like she's the one who has to be won over, but she so quickly melts to come by Anne's side. Especially, like, I love that initial confrontation between Marilla and Rachel and Anne, where like Rachel's been rude, Anne's been reactive, and it's like the first time that Marilla takes up Anne's side and like defends her like a parent. And I love that, and I love their relationship.
I think also Marilla has to be realistic. She's the only realistic one in the family.
Yeah.
Matthew, I mean, I love Matthew, but his head's up in the clouds,
Yeah.
just like Anne. That's why he and Anne get on so well, because they are so similar. So Marilla has to be realistic. She has to think about the ramifications of taking on an orphan that they didn't want.
Yeah.
That wouldn't be a help.
Yeah.
You know, her and Matthew are both getting on in years. They don't have any other people to support them. And obviously the people in the village would make sure that they weren't destitute and things. But
she's the realistic one. Like,
yeah.
she's... Yeah. Others are allowed to go to flights of fancy. She has to keep her feet.
and I think the fact that Anne finds a home with Marilla and Matthew and has such a loving, nurturing relationship with Marilla, it does ground Anne and it does teach her responsibility, which does come up later on in the novel and in further novels. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
She's a very positive influence, I think.
Yeah. Should I read the other novels?
Have you not read any of them?
No, I've just read Anne of Green Gables.
I've only read the first 4. I really enjoyed Anne of Avonlea and Anne of the Island.
Yeah.
So I would definitely say read those. And then I haven't read any past Anne of Windy Poplars. That's not because I don't want to read them, but just I have so many books to read, you know me. And one day I will read them. But I think later books are actually about Anne and Gilbert's children. Oh,
That's okay. If they didn't get together and have children, I'd be devastated.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, I would definitely recommend Anne of Avonlea and Anne of the Island.
Now I brought it up. Anne and Gilbert's relationship.
It's like the ultimate romance. Do you know what I mean?
I do know what you
Gilbert
mean.
is just Gilbert and Anne. They're just so good for each other, and they challenge each other, but they're also really sympathetic to each other, and they have so much in common. And I just love them.
I love their like academic rivalry.
They make each other better.
Yeah. And I like, so in lots of like romance plot lines, there's this thing of like where somebody has to do something awful and a miscommunication so that they break apart. I like that the awful thing that happens between them happens like straight away, and it's fairly innocuous. And though it takes its time to get over it, you know, like he calls her carrots, she smacks him over the head with a slate. Quite an extreme reaction, but you know, I like that that's their argument, and how it starts off on Anne's part hostile. You get the feeling that Gilbert's he's over that very quickly.
I mean, Gilbert's smitten from the first moment that he lays eyes on her, let's be honest.
Yeah. But like I like how Anne withholds of like I'm never gonna forgive him ever.
Yeah, she's so funny.
Even as she's falling in love with him. You know?
And like she hides that from herself, doesn't
Yeah.
she? She just refuses to admit the fact that she actually does like Gilbert.
Yeah.
They're just great. I would definitely recommend reading book 2 and 3.
Okay, I need to
definitely.
Do you still have them?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll borrow them off you.
Okay.
You know something else about Anne of Green Gables is that every time I read it, the writing is so good and Anne is so persuasive that I start thinking, maybe I should wear puffed sleeves. And then I go looking for like a top or a dress with like some nice little puff sleeves. And I put them on, I'm like,
Ooh,
this still doesn't...
Not the vibe.
When I read the book, I'm there with you on it, Anne. And then when I try them on, I'm like, this is not a good look on me.
Brutal.
On me. On other
break it
people.
Anne's heart. First you say that she would annoy you, then you say that you don't like puff sleeves. What's next? You think Diana Barry's the worst person in the world?
She's like just alright. I really I can't even remember much of like Diane.
Anne would be so mad at you right now. She'd be
know.
so mad at you.
Yeah.
That's her best friend.
I know. And she's fine. Again, I do feel like they just latched onto each other before they really knew each other, but then just went with it.
Yeah.
Which is like, that's just like a happy thing. Like, yeah.
Yeah, they are very different, aren't they?
Yeah. But I love the way they treat each other. And I like that Anne accidentally gets her drunk. That's really a funny chat. And gets in so much trouble for it.
Oh, bless them. What adaptations of Anne of Green Gables have you seen?
Adaptations. So I saw, is it like the 80s or the 90s TV version?
The one that's like 3 hours long.
Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah,
No
agree.
notes. Everything just right. And then Anne with an E. I started watching, but I feel, I'm going to look at when that came out. Oh, 2017. Yeah, so I started watching Anne with an E, but so it's 2017. Orla was born in 2016.
Wow.
And unfortunately, anything that came out after Orla's been born, I could no longer handle sad scenes.
I cannot believe that scene is 7 years. That show is 7 years old.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. So I remember watching it, and because I was very emotional. Like even like this whole like year after Orla been born. So this isn't like just like post birth emotions. I cry easily at things, and I can't.
It's a good cry.
It's a good cry. I don't like watching children in distress. So I thought, Anne with an E, Anne of Green Gables. I'll sit down and watch this adaptation of my favourite uplifting childhood.
It's a really good show.
It is.
Would you ever go back and watch it again, or do you think it would just be too much for you?
I might need to go revisit it. But those first opening couple of episodes. And it's so well done and it's so well acted. There's nothing wrong with the production values.
Masterpiece.
Yeah, I think it's really, really good. It's just that them fleshing out of Anne's past and it being so traumatic.
Horrific, yeah.
I just could not cope with it.
Fair enough.
So I think it's great. It was too dark for me to enjoy. Yeah.
Too modern.
But have you watched it all?
I have, yeah.
Is it really good?
Yeah. By too modern, I mean like it's a modern piece of cinema.
Yeah.
Whereas the one that came out in the 80s, it's of
that time, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think like modern cinema telling, like it wants to give us a wider picture of the story and the context and face a bit more of like the reality of what life would be like, and that is admirable. But that's not why I love Anne of Green Gables.
That's fair. That's fair.
But yeah, I think they're both really good adaptations, and the actress in particular of Anne with an E, very convincing.
Yeah. But yeah, the TV movie is great. There's a second one as well.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen that either.
Well, you have to read Out of the Island and then watch the second one.
Yeah. Speaking of like how heartwarming it is, and the nostalgia vibes are very strong. I know people do plan whole holidays around going to Prince Edward Island.
I think it's also the language used about the scenery is very romantic.
Yes.
Just paints a very pretty picture.
Yeah, and I think some of this book is about embracing romanticism. And I wholeheartedly approve of that. I think it's really good to romanticise things, and especially if you're able to romanticise where you are right now. And I think that's Anne's great talent. Even though she does yearn for things, but she can see something right in front of her and see it as really romantic too. And I think that's a really good way to live. And reading this book reminds me of that, and that's why I like it.
Cute. But my final thought is that I can't understand how you sit so still in these videos, because I'm moving around like every 3 minutes. That's my final thought.
I'm hiding my leggings.
They're nice leggings.
I know, but they're not Anne of Green Gables.
Those are our thoughts on Anne of Green Gables by Ellen Montgomery. If you have anything to tell us about Anne of Green Gables by Ellen Montgomery, please leave your comment down below. We make videos every Friday, so remember to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next week. Bye!
Bye!
Now, the full moon for November, go with me on my train of thought here, is the boo...
The boo.
The beaver moon. I wasn't saying boob, I was saying beaver. Just to clarify.
You just say beaver and moon at once.